Hello everyone, and warm greetings, and sitting here with you, wishing you all a meaningful meditation, or a satisfying one. Even when it's not satisfying though, it can be quite beneficial, sometimes even more beneficial, because the very things that make meditation difficult are often the very things that mindfulness, it's useful to bring mindfulness to. It might be very important to be mindful of, and learn something new, find a new way, be with oneself in a productive way with the difficulty. So one of the common descriptions of mindfulness practice you find here in the West is that it's a form of acceptance practice. And maybe so, and I'll talk more about that later. But right now I'd like to offer you a very important baseline orientation for doing Buddhist meditation, for doing mindfulness practice, that is akin to acceptance in a certain way, but doesn't require doing something. And often people have the impression that meditation is a lot about doing. Sometimes acceptance is understood as a ceasing of a lot of the doing that we do. And in a sense, that's what I want to emphasize today, that as you do the meditation today, rather than trying to focus so much on being mindful, rather than focusing a lot on some ideal, like to be compassionate for yourself or kind to yourself, focus on non-harming. Being attentive enough to track what your mind does, the thoughts, the attitudes, the motivations, the actions you want to do, and simply avoid anything that could be seen as being harmful, even if it is the harm is not strong, but certainly anything in the category of aversion, hatred, ill will towards yourself or towards others, towards the meditation. Any movement of greed and desire which causes stress and strain. Any being caught up in all kinds of thoughts about doubt and confusion and fantasy, and all which kind of interfere with a kind of deep intimacy, a deep capacity for being at ease here and now. So what would happen in this meditation if you're attentive to avoid causing harm? The harm that comes from being alienated from yourself when we're caught up and lost in thought. So if any of those movements of mind happen, let them be. Don't be involved in them. Don't get behind them. No need to be critical that they occur. Just let them be. The Buddhist question is to let be or not to let be. That is the question. And often the thing to do is to let be. Let it be. Don't get involved. So, assuming a meditation posture. A posture that feels good for you, but also good because it brings a kind of alertness to the body, and maybe with the alertness of the body, an alertness in the mind. Gently closing your eyes. And begin by remembering or sensing, imagining, finding what it might be like to have a mind, an attitude of non-harming. A mind that's non-harming because it has a strong connection to a sense of ease. A sense of peace within. Imagining that kind of mind and heart. And taking a few long, slow, deep breaths. And as you exhale, relax into that possibility. Possibility of non-harming. A heart that doesn't want to harm. And if any harming tendencies arise, that could be annoyance, criticism, self-criticism, some subtle attitude of that in which we undermine ourselves. Let that be. Don't be involved in it. Relax on the exhale. Relax into, so you approach the place within that's at ease and at peace, not in conflict with anything. Breathing in and breathing out. approaching meditation as a practice of non-harming. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, perhaps consider the benefits that come from non-harming. What this world would be like if there was a heightened dedication to non-harming. What it would feel like for you to live in a world where you were confident you would not be harmed, and perhaps how you would like to support others and have the experience of not having to worry about being harmed. And perhaps that's one of the gifts you can give. A dedication of living a life of not harming. May it be that others can rest assured that they will not be the recipients of hate and ill will, meanness and bullying and snide remarks. May it be that all beings may be happy, may be safe, may be peaceful, may be free. And to be able to live without an ongoing worry of being harmed by anyone, including by themselves. And may we be dedicated to creating such a world by living it with a dedication to not harm. Thank you. And while I'm waiting for the recorder here to reset so I can push the record button, let's mention again that tomorrow when this is over, it's at 1:45, 7:45 in California. I'll open a Zoom room and we can have a 7 a.m. community meeting. And I thought it'd be nice, partly because I'll be away for the following month, and nice to check in and say hello and maybe answer questions you might have. And we'll probably do a breakout group. I'll post later today the Zoom link in what's new on the homepage of IMC's website. I'll post it in the calendar, and also tomorrow morning I'll put it in the chat. So another announcement is that this Sunday, IMC is going to have a potluck, we call it a potluck picnic, from 11 o'clock to 1 p.m. here at IMC after the morning meditation and teaching. So those of you who live close enough, it's a chance to come together in community, and we'll do it outside, and thank you for that. Really, really cool. So continuing the theme of appreciation as a foundation for compassion. A form of appreciation, part of this that makes appreciation more valuable and richer, is our ability to accept people as they are. And this is a nuanced kind of topic, because of course there are people who do things that we can't accept, and so we're not condoning or allowing them to continue to do things which are harmful. But so one of the aspects of acceptance, but at the same time, it's profound for some people to be accepted as they are. There are plenty of people in this society that are not accepted for basically, for who they are, and so goes everywhere they go. There's people not accepting them, not including them, marginalizing them, ignoring them, because somehow they're not accepted. The non-accepting people might think that they're not being prejudiced or not being hostile, but the subtle ways in which people keep silent or overlook them or ignore them or prioritize other people to give their attention to. And some people it's quite dramatic that how they're not accepted. Some people it's subtle, but it takes its toll over a long time. And because it's such a common phenomena in the world, that people in some way or other are not accepted, not that we don't make room for them, we don't include them in our efforts to be inclusive, to befriend people, that it's such a powerful thing to do. And some people, they rarely get accepted for themselves, for how they are. And to have someone that sits down with them and just there and accepts them as they are. I've known homeless people who, when I sat down on a bench with them and just talked with them, you could see something inside of them relaxed. And at first they felt kind of cautious. And I remember one person who said, "Oh, I can go, I don't have to be here," as if they didn't belong there. But I reassured them it was okay, and we had a nice little conversation. So to accept people is a profound thing, but how to do it in a way that is appropriate for oneself and for others is part of the art of it. And so it's a little hard to know all the ins and outs of when acceptance is appropriate and not. But I'd like to propose that one of the kind of first criteria, first kind of entry points to a radical acceptance of others is to be dedicated towards not harming them. To have that as a clear guideline. So certainly that can be any kind of intentional harm that we do for them. If we have hate, we have ill will, we complain about them, we blame them, we criticize them, we make snide comments about them. Many forms of harm are caused by words we speak. And so to avoid causing harm, and and uh, and then we also harm by our attention. If who we attend to with our attention, who we notice, who we don't notice, who we ignore, and to notice a little bit how we're using our attention socially. Who do we prioritize? Who do we zero in on? And who is not included in our attention then? Are we causing harm by exclusion, by ignoring? Who is it that feels ignored? Who feels marginalized in the room? And is there some way to include them and in the conversation if they're standing there and and not being actively included? So as we move along in this investigation, consideration of non-harming, it's also taking other people into account. What is the experience like for them? What's happening for them? What do they need? And for people who are causing harm, people who are saying things that are mean, or people who are doing other things, is there some way to accept them that gets underneath the action they do? And so this common idea that we can separate the person from their actions, then we might be able to have some way of not accepting the actions, but accepting the person, not being hostile to the person, saying no to the action, but saying yes to the person. So, for example, one might say, without being angry back at someone who says something mean to us, we might say, "Oh, wow, those words, they stung. I feel hurt by those words. They were difficult to hear, and and I care for you, but not the words." So that kind of turning it around, it's a little difficult for people then to continue saying harmful words if you kind of tell people the impact it's had and then immediately turn around and appreciate them in some way or hold them in some view of kindness or have some acceptance of them as a person. And what needs to be accepted in people? So it might not be the whole person, but the person saying mean words, it might mean what needs to be accepted is that they're scared or they're lonely or they're pretty upset and frustrated. And so just, oh, those words you spoke, they stung. And I wonder if you're feeling, sad or tired, and can I do something for you? Can we kind of support you? Can I bring you some coffee or something? To change the language, to not buy in to the tone of voice or the attitude or even the strategy that people are doing that you don't like or is hard, to not participate in it, not engage it on its terms, but somehow step aside from that and return to the person, addressing some aspect of the person that maybe needs acceptance, needs support, needs something that maybe undermines pulls the energy away from their harming behavior. So this is not easy to do, but if we're dedicated to a life of non-harming, then just that itself might be seen as an acceptance, but it could be naive. But if we really try to understand what's going on for the person, so we want to appreciate people. What can be appreciated? We want to understand them. What's really going on here? What's going on under the surface? What's deeper than their behavior that we don't like? What what can we respect? Can we respect the person, not the behavior? And then can we kind of be here with an accepting way? And I've been in situations where people have been angry at me. I think it wasn't justified, but they were angry with me. And sometimes it has been justified. And my ability to be accepting of the situation, accepting of the person's anger, making room for it, not accepting it because I condone it or I approve of it, but being there and allowing myself to experience it, allowing myself for that to be there, so that something different can happen. So it's not a fight between that person and me. So one of the nuanced and deeper ways that this topic of acceptance works, that I think is kind of key to all of it working, is we accept whatever the situation is, whatever it is, and that's a radical thing to say. We accept it into awareness. We allow awareness to receive it, to know it. And that's a very different, what we might do in response, what we might say, how we might evaluate the situation, is a different activity within. But to allow it to come into awareness, so awareness doesn't shut down, that somehow with our awareness we're not already resisting or stopping or attacking. There's something about the peaceful experience of allowing yourself to be aware of something, that we accept it into awareness. And that hopefully allows us to respond in a wise way. And we'll know what to do, and maybe in making room to allow ourselves to experience it, to be aware of it, that the other person will feel something's different going on here. This is not different. This is not what I'm used to. When this is someone who's sad and upset, for example, not doing harm. They're surprised by someone who has the ability to be calm and peaceful and attentive to their sadness, and so we're able to accept the sadness and open to it, so we don't have to fix it right away or get too involved too quickly. So the acceptance, this kind of acceptance in awareness, allowing awareness to be accepting, I think gives a lot more power to our appreciation and respect of others. Because then there's a cleaner channel, cleaner kind of transmission of appreciation and a cleaner transmission of respect that we give. So, elements of appreciation. Appreciation itself, gratitude, valuing people. And then there's understanding people. Without understanding, the appreciation can't be that deep. There's respecting people. Again, treating them as valuable human beings, valuable enough for us to pay attention to. And as we pay attention, to pay attention with an accepting attention, so that something deeper can happen in our acceptance, and we know what to accept in the person. So, one more time tomorrow, and the last element of appreciation. And thank you very much for being part of this, and I look forward to our time tomorrow.